Hello YouTube, it's Dbtgamer Show, Pokemon Blue Let's Play, part
28.
Number 28. Now, as I promised YouTube, in this part, and hopefully in the next part, I will talk about the Cubone legend, which is a rumour on my YouTube forum rooms and on YouTube videos.
That connects Cubone to missing now.
Right, here's how the theory works.
Before you start, I'd just like to point out that I think this theory is no load of bullshit, that you're just reading shite into stuff that isn't connected and has got absolutely nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Well, personally, as far as I'm concerned, this theory does...
But it is a theory and it does sound pretty damn good, I'll have to admit that. But I have to admit, I'm sceptical.
This theory has some interesting supports to hold it up, but it doesn't really...
Explain anything.
It doesn't really add up enough to actually make it true. It's like me saying 5 plus 1 is 7, when it isn't.
I don't know, you can half 12 and make it into 7.
Anyway.
Seriously, you can. Do you want me to tell you how?
Go on, then.
Well, the Roman numeral for 7 is VII. The Roman numeral for 12 is XII. Take the bottom half of X away and you get a V. So take the whole lot away, you get a VII.
That is so effing clever.
I learned that on How To.
That is so clever.
Carol Vorderman taught me that when I was about 7 years old.
Oh, that is so clever. Anyway, now to the Cubone legend. Okay, first we must talk about the Pokemon Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan. Now, if you look at Kangaskhan closely, you will notice that its skull is very, very similar shape to a certain Pokemon. Which Pokemon, you ask? The Pokemon is Cubone. If you look at Cubone's skull...
Since you never had to see Cubone's face, apparently it wears the skull of its mother. And that skull is almost an exact match to the head of Kangaskhan.
Exactly.
And Kangaskhan is a rather large Pokemon which always carries a child in its pouch.
And the child, if you put a skull over it, it looks like a Cubone. And this also explains where Cubone got its weapon of trade, a bone. It's using its mother's bones as armour and a weapon. So this makes a lot of sense to me. And when
Cubone evolves into a Marowak, the skull apparently gets fused with the skull of the Cubone and becomes its actual head.
Yeah. Now, according to some diaries in Pokemon Blue, I don't know where these diaries are, but they are in the game because I once found them just to see if this is actually in the game. I am that much a nerd. I have that much time in my hand.
We've all got that much time in our hands at some point.
So I went into the game. I actually did find these diaries, and it is confirmed that these diaries are in the game. So this is somewhat true. Basically, the diaries say that female Marowaks evolve. Are said, not actually, are said to evolve into Kangaskhan's, and they have a baby Cubone to keep the bloodline going. But Kangaskhan's don't live very long for several reasons. One, they're often poached because they're very rare Pokemon, and two, they just don't live very long.
Eh? They don't live very long because A, they're being poached, and 2, because they don't live very long.
Okay.
That's like saying, because we kill them, and because I fucking say so.
Okay, I don't
They
know...
don't live very long because I said they don't, alright?
Okay, the main reason why Kangaskhan's don't live very long is because of poacherism.
Poacherism? That sounds like some kind of weird religion in the sticks somewhere.
So yeah, the Pokemon known as Kangaskhan does not live very long. Now, you may be asking, where the hell does Missing No come into this? Well, okay, this is where this gets a little bit iffy, a little bit mind-blowing, a little bit confusing. Missing No, if you train it to level 100, if you're that much of a Pokemon experience whore, or a level grinding whore,
yeah,
Missing No
evolves
into one of 3 Pokemon, and one of the 3 Pokemon it can evolve into is Kangaskhan. Now, personally, here's my 2 cents on this theory. this is how I see it. Let's say Missing No originally was going to be a Pokemon in the actual Pokedex.
Yeah.
My theory is that when the game originally designed Pokemon Blue, Yellow and Red, they were going to use the male and female gender status like they did with the Nidoran family. And I thought, when I looked at the Pokemon roster, if they had a female Marowak, it would evolve into Kangaskhan. That's my little theory on how this would work if they put into practice in real life. But
but the theory goes, due to time restrictions and certain deadlines not being met during the game's development, the whole idea of Marowak ever evolving into a Kangaskhan, or the whole idea of Kangaskhan being linked to any kind of evolution chain whatsoever, was completely dropped.
Yeah.
And the theory is that Missing No is the program in the game that links the evolution of Marowak to a Kangaskhan.
Yeah.
And when the game produces a by going through a certain set of scenarios, which involves some idiot in the first city, which tries to make the game access information for Pokemon that doesn't exist, thus producing a Missing No. What it's actually trying to pass off as a Pokemon is actually this program that's been embedded somewhere in the game that links the evolution of Kangaskhan to Marowak. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Right. So the whole idea of Missing No is it's some kind of
error message.
It's some kind of rogue program that was hidden away in the game that's supposed to link the Cubone, Marowak, and Kangaskhan evolution chain.
I don't really know why this idea was dropped, but I think the game time constraints is probably the best guess.
I have to confess, Kangaskhan would be a very good candidate for an evolution of Marowak.
For 3 reasons. One, it's one of the hardest Pokemon to find in the game, and 2, Kangaskhan is fucking awesome.
And 3?
Count
the reasons before you list them, mate, please.
I like Kangaskhan. I just like its design in general.
Fair enough.
It always reminded me of a kangaroo.
Well, with a name like Kangaskhan, I'd assume it would be.
Mm.
So that's the theory behind the origin of Missing No. It's a rogue program that's supposed to link the evolution of 2 Pokemon.
There's one thing that I don't understand though. These days we have bigger cartridges. We have more development time for Pokemon games and games in general. And we also have a thing called genders in Pokemon now. Every Pokemon that you capture in this day and age will have 1 of 3 genders. Unknown for legendaries.
Genderless Pokemon, yeah, they're usually the legendaries, like the...
and then you've got your normal Pokemon like Pikachu, which will either be male or female. Now...
And sometimes they have a little sprite differentiation. For example, Pikachu...
has a little chunk out of its tail.
The tip of a female Pikachu's tail looks like kind of heart shape, whereas a male Pikachu is just a sort of square, flat thing.
Yeah. Now, personally, I don't know why they didn't change Pokemon Red version, Pokemon Fire Red, and correct the myth.
Which is where I come in, the skeptic. The fact is, if this legend was true, they would have.
Well, they didn't in the first. They got time constraints, Adam.
But
so...
now they don't have time constraints. They do have time constraints, but they would have had time to fix this minor issue. If it was really that kind of program, what we just described, they would have fixed it by now, and it would be canon. But trouble is, it's not.
I think I know why they didn't fix it.
Because it's not.
I think I know why they didn't fix it.
Go on.
Because people play Pokemon Blue version. A lot of the time when people remake games, they always remake the game as close to the original as possible because they don't want to upset the fans.
I'm not talking about remakes. I'm talking about the
that's what I was
Pokemon now.
talking about.
Oh, sorry.
Go on, do your bit then. I'll try this match up with some electrotherapy.
Well, we're near the end of this part, so I'll leave.
And then we've got 3 minutes.
I'll leave my. I've got quite a bit to say, so I'll leave my skeptic argument until the next episode. We've talked about a legend. You've given your reasons why you think it's canon. So next part I'll
give your theories on it.
I'll give my theories on it, which frankly I don't believe the legend. I don't think it is a kind of evolutionary mistake that was hidden away due to time limitations. But like I say, we'll talk about it next time. For the time being,
I just have one more thing to say about the legend.
Go on.
There's also another thing about the Missing No legend. Apparently, the game designers were originally meant to delete Missing No. They were meant to delete it from the game's code, but because it would take too long to delete the code, they hid it. And these days, if you use an action replay on say Pokemon Leaf Green, Pokemon Fire Red, Pokemon Emerald, Pokemon Sapphire, and even Pokemon Platinum, Missing No still exists. Missing No still is part of the Pokemon universe.
Yeah, but in the originals, Missing No was a kind of jumbled mass of pixels.
But in today's games, Missing No is a giant bouncing question mark. Now, let me just put something towards you here now. Let me just give you a scenario. Let's say you're in the Pokemon universe. Let's say you're walking on the grass one day and you see a dragon. You know, you'd be okay with that because it's an animal. It's a dragon. You know, it's easy identifiable as an animal.
Personally, I'd shoot myself and run off, but still, go on.
Okay, then you see a fish. It's an animal, so it's easy to identify as an animal. And then you see a bouncing question mark.
Punctuation attacks. It's like a really bad
horror movie.
It's like a B movie. It sounds like something Mel Brooks would think up. Anyway, my throat's getting sore now, so I'm going to shut up. And between parts, I'm going to get a drink.
Alright. In this cave, you two, I'm trying to train up my Botan because I will need him for the next gym. Even though the next gym is grass type, Botan will still be a very useful Pokemon.
He'll be a sort of human shield kind of thing.
Yeah.
If things go tits up.
Although Botan doesn't learn a grass move until level 38, so I'm having to ration the Vine Whips.
Yeah.
When I played Pokemon White, they've raised Vine Whip's PP to 15 and lowered the power to 40, which I think is a good move because Vine Whip's PP limit when you first get it is ridiculous, only 10. But in Pokemon Black and White, they've raised it to 15, which I think is a better idea. And it definitely improves the move status in my book.
I'll take your word for it. I don't use grass moves that often. The only grass move that I use often is Gardevoir's Magical Leap.
Oh, that move is good.
It's powerful. It's 100% hit rate. And
the only way you can dodge it is either being underground or in the air or underwater.
Exactly. So it's perfect for those battles when some arsehole uses, I don't know, double team or anything that increases evasion or lowers your accuracy. You just thought, fuck you, Magical Leaf.
And it also sounds like a cannabis sort of advertisement.
The Magical Leaf. Dude.
Magical Leaf from Forest Incorporation. Incorporate.
Stoners Limited. You're nearly dead, mate.
I can take him.
We're on about 14:25.
I'll kill this Geodude and I'll end the part. Anyway, you two.
Okay, Geodude dead, let's end the part.
Anyway, you two. Now I kill the Geodude, we'll end the part. See you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.